In the tight-knit world of NASCAR, things can shift in a heartbeat. One moment a driver is a fun story that fans love to cheer for. The next, he becomes the guy everyone in the garage starts watching a little closer. That shift is happening right now with Shane Van Gisbergen, and you can feel it in every conversation, every radio call, and every post-race comment. The New Zealander is no longer just the exciting import who shocked the sport on a street course. He is turning into a real problem for the rest of the field. Veterans who once saw him as a road course specialist are now openly saying he is adapting faster than they expected. And in a season where the playoff format demands consistency on every type of track, that change matters more than ever. Let's step back and see how he got here, because the story is even better when you look at the full picture. 2 years ago, almost nobody expected Van Gisbergen to become a long-term Cup Series player. He arrived as a 3-time Australian Supercars champion with a whopping 80 wins and 3 Bathurst 1,000 victories under his belt. In 2023, he got one shot in a Cup car with Trackhouse Racing at the Chicago Street Course. What happened next still feels like a fairy tale. He won on his very first start. That made him the first driver to win a Cup race on debut in the modern era since Johnny Rutherford did it more than 60 years earlier. He also became the first New Zealander ever to win a NASCAR Cup race. Fans went wild. Headlines exploded. But many people in the garage quietly thought, great story, but can he do this every week? 2024 seemed to confirm the early doubts for some. Van Gisbergen ran the full Xfinity Series season with Colleague Racing. He won 3 times, all on road courses. The talent was obvious, but when he made a handful of Cup starts on ovals, his best finish was only 26th. The learning curve looked steep. People started labeling him a road course ringer, the kind of driver who lights up the map on twisty tracks but struggles when the pavement goes in circles for 300 or 400 miles. Then 2025 arrived, and everything began to change. It was Van Gisbergen's first full-time Cup season with Trackhouse Racing. The year opened with 3 rough oval finishes, 31st at Phoenix, 34th at Las Vegas, and 32nd at Homestead. No one was pretending those results looked pretty. But the moment the series reached road courses, he became unstoppable. He won 5 out of 6 road course races, often by huge margins. 16 seconds in Mexico City, 11 seconds at Watkins Glen, and more than 15 seconds at the Charlotte Roval. Those were not just wins, they were statements. He reached 5 Cup victories faster than any driver since Dan Gurney in 1968 and easily took Rookie of the Year honors. What really caught the garage's attention, though, were the quiet improvements on ovals late in the season. He started collecting top 15 finishes on circles, including a 14th at Richmond and a 10th at Kansas. The road course-only tag was starting to peel away. A foundation for a complete driver was clearly being built. Now we are in 2026, and the stakes have never been higher. NASCAR brought back the old Chase playoff format this year. That single change removes the safety net Van Gisbergen had last season. In 2025, a road course win could basically lock him into the playoffs and let him treat oval races like learning labs. Not anymore. Every point counts. Every stage matters. And with Charlotte switching back to its traditional oval layout, the 10-race playoff stretch now has 0 road courses. If Van Gisbergen wants to chase a championship, he has to prove he belongs on ovals, plain and simple. He has never hidden from that challenge. In interviews, he has been refreshingly honest. I didn't join this series to do road courses, he said. Sure, he would love more twisty tracks on the schedule, but he knows the real test is mastering the ovals. And he believes the progress is real. The first few races of 2026 have backed up his words in a big way. The Daytona 500 Media Day set the tone. Van Gisbergen told reporters his goal was simple: pile up as many points as possible to stay in the playoff hunt. Then the season kicked off with 2 superspeedway-style races, Daytona and Atlanta. He delivered a 6th-place finish, which at the time was the best oval result of his Cup career. Think about that for a second. Last season, it took him 31 races to earn his first oval top 10. This year, it took just 2 races. That kind of leap turns heads. The first road course of the year came at Circuit of the Americas. Van Gisbergen had won the last 5 straight Cup road course races and was chasing Jeff Gordon's record of 6 in a row. He won the Xfinity race on Saturday, then started 13th in the Cup event on Sunday. By lap 7, he was already in 6th. He chased down the leader, but settled for second, just 4 seconds back. The win streak ended, but he still walked away with 48 points and jumped 11 spots in the standings, all the way to 5th overall. Even on a day he did not win his favorite type of race, he maximized the day like a true contender. Next came Phoenix, the first true oval test of the young season. This one could have gone sideways fast. Van Gisbergen spun twice off turn 4 and brought out 2 cautions. But instead of falling apart, he showed real growth. He fought back through the field, finished 11th, and recorded 118 green flag passes, 7th best in the entire Cup field that day. That is not luck. That is a driver learning to work through mistakes and still show speed and racecraft. After 4 races, he sat 5th in the standings with 2 top 10 finishes already, a career high. Then came Las Vegas, the weekend that made everyone stop scrolling and pay attention. He qualified 16th, ahead of both Trackhouse teammates. On the very first lap, chaos hit. Caught 3 wide, he made contact with Eric Jones. The car snapped loose coming out of the final turn at full speed. For a split second, it looked like a certain wreck. Van Gisbergen was completely sideways, sliding between 2 lanes of traffic. Somehow he held the wild drift, brush-chased Briscoe's car in a way that actually helped straighten him out, dropped onto the apron, and kept going. NASCAR released the in-car camera footage, and it went viral. Broadcaster Clint Bowyer sounded stunned on the call. Fans watching at home had the same reaction. This save should not have been possible. Unfortunately, the wild moment damaged the front splitter. From then on, the car was a handful, swinging between oversteer and understeer for the rest of the afternoon. He finished 36th. On paper, it was a terrible day, but the save itself reminded everyone just how special his talent is behind the wheel. What happened next may matter even more than the results. The biggest names in the sport started talking about Van Gisbergen in a new way. Denny Hamlin, a 3-time champion and one of the sharpest minds in the garage, said after Las Vegas, "The trend is continuing that he keeps getting better." I think that's what Justin Marks and the whole Trackhouse group was hoping for. Can he adapt to these ovals? And he is one of those. Coming from Hamlin, those words carry weight. Joey Logano took a slightly more careful tone. He noted that superspeedways and road courses are where you expect Van Gisbergen to shine, and Phoenix was still messy with all the cautions. But he quickly added, "He's doing a good job. I'm not taking it away from that." Chase Elliott offered one of the most interesting insights. He was not surprised by the oval improvement at all. "Shane has a great feel for natural balance behind the wheel," Elliott said. "That kind of natural instinct is hard to teach. Some drivers study data for hours. Others rely on raw feel. Elliott sees that special feel in Van Gisbergen, and that may be the key to how quickly he is closing the gap." Christopher Bell went even further. He pointed out that the current weekend format actually makes it harder for Van Gisbergen to learn ovals quickly. If Shane had done this in an earlier era with hours of practice, he would probably be much further along already, Bell said. He added that it is clear Van Gisbergen is getting the hang of it, and it will not be long before he is a factor on an oval. Coming from a driver who knows the grind, that comment feels like a warning to the rest of the field. And then there is Bubba Wallace, who put it in the simplest, most direct way possible. He told Scott McLaughlin over dinner, "SVG will win on an oval soon. He is good. He is really, really good. No hedging. No, maybe someday. Just soon." Van Gisbergen himself has stayed grounded through all the praise. He admits he is still a long way from winning on an oval, and says he would need some luck to do it right now. He does not want a fluke victory. He wants to earn it. At the same time, he can feel the improvement every single week. "I understand what is going on much better," he said. "I'm not out there feeling like a deer in the headlights anymore." He also explained how the return of the chase has changed his approach. Last year, he could experiment more because a road course win gave him breathing room. This season, every point feels heavy. He says he is trying to drive a little more conservatively while still pushing hard enough to learn. "It's a really fine line," he admitted. The numbers tell the same story. Trackhouse now feels like an 8th to 15th place team most weeks on ovals. Huge progress from the 30-something finishes they were posting early last season. So where does this leave us? The question is no longer whether Van Gisbergen can compete on ovals. That answer is already yes. The real question is how soon that progress turns into an actual oval win. Once that happens, the conversation changes completely. For Trackhouse Racing and team owner Justin Marks, this is the dream they signed up for. For veteran drivers, it is a new challenge they respect. For NASCAR fans, it is pure excitement. A world-class talent from New Zealand is learning one of the toughest disciplines in motorsports right in front of us. Race by race, mistake by mistake, save by save, and getting better at a pace that has the entire garage talking. He is no longer just dangerous on street circuits or road courses. If the oval improvement keeps rolling, he will be dangerous everywhere. And in a sport that loves a good story, this one feels like it is only getting started. The garage has seen plenty of fast drivers come and go. But when the biggest names start saying out loud what fans have been whispering, you know something special is happening. Shane Van Gisbergen is becoming a legitimate Cup Series threat. And the scariest part for everyone else? It still looks like he is only scratching the surface.